Welcome back to the YouTube channel Car World. The 1956 Ford F100, a name that echoes through the history of American automobiles. A symbol of rugged charm, timeless design, and mechanical soul. It stands today in a modern showroom, but its heart beats in another era, another rhythm. The early morning sun filtered gently through the spotless showroom glass, casting warm golden streaks over the polished surface of the black 1956 Ford F100 pickup. Inside the vehicle, time seemed to stand still. The moment you stepped in and closed the door with a solid vintage thud, the outside world faded, and all that remained was the hum of memory, the echo of a different era captured within steel and chrome. The driver's seat welcomed with a deep, familiar creak, its worn leather softly crackling under pressure. Though aged, the upholstery held its dignity, the stitching precise and strong, a testament to the craftsmanship of its time. The scent was unmistakable, a rich blend of aged leather, old fuel, and the faint perfume of metal baked in sun. It was the scent of authenticity, of stories long past, carried in silence by the truck's well-worn cabin. In front, the dashboard stretched out in a modest yet commanding presence. Smooth, heavy metal formed its foundation, painted a deep, glossy black that shimmered faintly under the natural light. A row of analog dials stood proudly like vintage instruments in an old jazz club, the speedometer, fuel gauge, oil pressure, and amp meter all nestled in perfect symmetry. Each needle rested in its cradle, waiting to dance once again. The centerpiece of the dashboard was the oversized steering wheel, a bold circular ring with a thin rim, perfectly polished and bearing the classic Ford emblem in its center. Time had rubbed its edges smooth, but its soul remained untouched. Gripping it gave a sense of control not just over a machine, but over an era where vehicles were built with intention, and every ride was an experience. Behind it, the column shifter stood tall, ready to click into gear with a satisfying mechanical precision. The bench seat stretched across the cabin like a welcoming couch, inviting not just a driver but companions, perhaps a family on a Sunday drive, or a farmer heading into town with his child by his side. The texture of the seat was rough in parts, soft in others, but consistent in its character. Faint creases marked the places where countless occupants had sat, leaned, laughed, or maybe just stared out the windshield, lost in thought. The floor beneath was lined with thick rubber mats, textured and tough, made for use, not for show. A simple clutch, brake, and gas pedal lay ready, sturdy and large, built for boots that worked fields, not city shoes. A pair of old mud streaks had dried along the edges of the floorboard, maybe missed during the last cleaning, but somehow they belonged there, like the laugh lines on an old friend's face. Looking upward, the ceiling was bare metal, painted in the same shade as the exterior, minimal, rugged, honest. A single dome light sat overhead, its glass yellowed with age. It gave off a soft amber glow when turned on, more mood than utility, but deeply atmospheric. The rearview mirror, simple and rectangular, hung firm and slightly tarnished. It reflected not just the truck bed outside but 1,000 miles of memories left behind. Outside the glass, through the clean windows, the showroom buzzed quietly. Well-dressed figures walked around the truck, pointing, smiling, admiring. The blue Ford logo loomed high on the wall in front, proud and timeless. But within the truck's cab, there was quiet, a meditative space, a whisper of old engines and gravel roads. It was easy to imagine the truck rumbling to life, the starter motor grinding before settling into that deep, comforting idle. To the right of the driver, the glove box clicked open to reveal a small collection of faded papers, perhaps an original manual, an old registration card, or a forgotten photo of loved ones from decades past. The handle was simple metal, cool to the touch, satisfying in its function. Above it, the radio, or what passed for one in the 50s, held dials and buttons the size of nickels. No screens, no Bluetooth, just the crackle of AM stations and music that traveled on airwaves, not apps. The door panels were unadorned but sturdy. A window crank sat at arm's length, eager to roll the glass up or down with a few strong twists. There was a time when power came from your hand, not a button. The door handle, silver and cold, gave a sharp click when pulled. Its mechanism was visible,